And let me just pull up this here. Okay. So let me so everyone, I'm going to go ahead and put the information there in the chat room. Okay. Dr. Chen, I'm activated, right? My ability to send information.
Oh, let me confirm. Let me, yeah,
Make
one
sure my
second.
chat room is.
You can send it to the chat. Let you make you 1 second. Make
Okay.
you now you can.
Okay. All right. So it's probably too long a message. What I'm going to do.
Yeah.
It's going to cut off.
Half.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So everybody, you see that in the chat room, I put information, my contact information, WeChat number, and next Vision Zoom, which is this coming Tuesday, May 19th. And next Shi Ban Gong Bei Zoom is June 10th, not 17th, June 10th. And then the movie site information. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put into the chat room also in Mandarin Chinese that information as well. So I'm going to go ahead and put in there. So you will see in the chat room, I put Mandarin contact information as well. So I suggest everybody, you can take an iPhone photo of the chat room or copy and paste into your email so you have it. After today, if you have any question, you can ask me. So both in English and Chinese. And Dr. Chen, if you can keep on monitoring, then making sure that if this information got pushed out of the space, you can just copy and paste and put it back on. Okay, we'll start. Welcome everybody. I see Jayla and Kel. Yes, hello. Thank you for coming. Julie-san, Stella, and Corey. Yes. Mauricio. Yes, welcome. Dan, Amy, William Zhang, and Jing Long. And so we're going to go ahead and start. And I'm going to share the screen for you now. So Dr. Chen, I want to make sure, I'm going to make sure that you can get the share.
I think you can.
Share.
No problem.
Okay. I will share.
Yeah. Very good.
So everybody see that?
Yes.
Okay, we'll start. Shi Ban Gong Bei is an ancient Chinese saying about accomplishing twice the work in half the time. So it's a group of pearls that combining the wisdom of East and the West so that we can accomplish things more successfully and efficiently. And my contact information on the screen if you're interested, and also the movie site, I have the free link as well. Our next Shi Ban Gong Bei Zoom is June 10th. You can take a picture of it. Typically it's third Wednesday, but for June it's second Wednesday. And if you're interested in the book, little booklet, email me your mailing address. I'll be happy to share with you. And with regard my bio, is basically I'm an ophthalmologist practicing in Nashville, Tennessee. And I invented amniotic contact lens to help millions of patients around the world. And we have a side foundation to help blind orphan children, which is what side movie is about. Now, in business, We often hear people say, not just working hard, but working smarter. So ladies and gentlemen, what does that mean, working smarter? Well, what I've learned in life by watching many people who are a lot more successful than me, I realized that working smarter is a question of emotional versus logical, irrational versus rational, and result in inefficient versus efficient. Then you say, Dr. Wang, why you are in a position to address this issue, right? I'm in a position to address this issue is because I grew up in the East and I live in the West. East, Asian culture tends to be more emotional, and Western culture tends to be cut and dry, more logical. And also, I'm a physician and a physicist. Physician, you have to deal with human emotion, patient's emotions, and a physicist, I have to deal with logical. So my profession and my ethnic background lends itself, allow me to observe both efficient, emotional, and logical. So briefly, let me tell you how I arrived at this point to recognize at the end of the day, we have to combine East and West. I grew up in China during Cultural Revolution. For 10 years, the government shut down all university colleges for 10 years. And over 10 years, Cultural Revolution has sent away to labor camp 20 million young people. 1974, I was 14, and I was going to be sent away to labor camp unless I can play an instrument and can learn dancing to avoid labor camp. Then I got lucky, 1976 rolled around, Cultural Revolution ended. As shown in the movie Sight, my parents helped me, and I worked really hard, and I got to University of Science and Technology in China to study physical chemistry, laser physics. In 1982, with $50, I came to America. I got a PhD in laser physics at University of Maryland, and I wanted to go to medical school, and I was racially discriminated against because the professor said, you're Chinese, you're no good. Fortunately, I did not give up. I worked even harder. So after postdoc, laser PhD, MIT, I got enrolled at Harvard Medical School, MIT Joint MD program. In 1991, I graduated, and I invited my parents over, thanking them for having raised me up and have helped me during a difficult time during Cultural Revolution. So the movie Sight has been dedicated to my parents. The reason I got 2 doctorate degrees is because medicine is so technologically driven. 99% of doctors, they have the MD, but they did not have the opportunity to study laser physics in depth. I was lucky to get a PhD in laser physics in addition to MD. So that's why it's important for me to get both, learning both. I've performed over 55,000 laser vision corrections, including on over 4,000 doctors. I'm probably one of the few laser eye surgeons in the world today who also hold a not only MD, but also PhD in laser physics. This is MIT Harvard graduation diploma. And I even went to White House, met then President Ronald Reagan. In the movie Sight, you see that I was trying to help blind orphan children Kajal, who got intentionally blinded, and our foundation brought her to America. I was trying to figure out how can I stop the scarring. There was no treatment, no treatment. I realized a unborn child doesn't scar, but how can I do research on unborn child so that I can help Kajal reduce her eyesight, her eye scar, but without hurting a baby? They say there's no common ground between faith and science. Is that really true? Is it possible to push forward science without hurting human life? And fortunately, I did not give up. We established a common ground network to study how to find the common ground, the common ground seeking steps, even the common ground Bible study. And through much prayer, I realized that perhaps we can use the placenta. So I got the placenta donated to me. The idea is the placenta surrounding unborn child, maybe that's what the tissue gives the unborn child the ability to heal without scar. So I went on research and eventually developed the amniotic contact lens. When the amniotic placental contact lens put on patient's eyes, indeed miracle happened. Scars much reduced, eyesight restored. Then I decided to donate my patent to the world. I put the patent online and went around the world to about 50-some countries and free of charge lectured to about over 10,000 eye doctors worldwide and to how to use this technology. Today, as shown in the movie Sight, amniotic membrane contact lens has transformed the world. Millions of patients have been helped. It's a $5 billion industry right now. Even though I did not make any money myself because I donated my patent in the beginning, I'm happy that it has helped so many patients. And as an immigrant, I've done my part to pay back. As we get older, our eyes get drier. This patient got dry eye in her 70s, painful, blurry for many years. And we put amniotic contact lens on. She's very happy. So amniotic contact lens is a technology you learned in the movie Sight. Shows not only technology transformed the world, helped millions, but also it shows that science and faith do have common ground. You can advance science and protecting life at the same time. So I live in Nashville, Tennessee, Music City, USA. We got the Rand Vision Institute, and we got some of the best technologies. I published many papers, including in the journal Nature. And I published 10 textbooks in ophthalmology to help surgeons around the world to improve their weak area in technology. And 7 of these textbooks have been translated in Mandarin Chinese. I served on US FDA ophthalmic device panel, the first Chinese Americans to do so, to serve in their post, and then we're training surgeons worldwide. We performed the world's first laser artificial cornea implantation, and we got technology now can deal with all 5 human eye prescription conditions: nearsighted, farsighted, astigmatism, presbyopia, and cataract. And we can also treat dry eyes with amniotic contact lens. So you can take a picture of this coming Tuesday. We have Vision Zoom every Tuesday to talk about these 4 state-of-the-art technology that can take care of all 5 human eye conditions: nearsighted, farsighted, astigmatism, presbyopia, the reading difficulty after age 40, and the cataract, and dry eyes. On the left, SMILE. LASIK surgery is going out of the date. It's now replaced by even better technology called small incision LASIK, called SMILE. So LASIK surgery is becoming obsolete. Lower left corner, implantable contact lens. We'll put the contact lens in the eye so you never need to remove it. In the middle, for those over age 45, from age 45 to 107, we got the technology in one surgery, the Forever Young lens. In one surgery, we can fix all of these conditions. You never need glasses to drive, even when you're 99 years old. You never need reading glasses to read, even when you're 99 years old, and you will never develop cataract. On the right, cataract surgery can be performed with laser or blade, but even though laser much better, but even in the United States, only 5% of cataract surgery is performed with laser. 95% are still by blade today. Even though laser is better, but why only 5% by laser for cataract surgery? It's because most of the doctors are still learning. So that's my responsibility, part of my responsibility. I want to help surgeons who, most of them don't have the opportunity as I had to study in-depth laser technology, to help them improve their technology so all of us can use laser. Actually, our center, One Vision Institute, is #1 in the United States in the percentage of high-tech application, laser application in eye surgery. We're leading the nation. So this is SMILE, the world's first technology, and also Forever Young lens to get rid of reading glasses, and cataract surgery using laser. This is some of my star patients in Music City, Dolly Parton. And also I've been returning to China teaching over the years. I performed China's first all-laser LASIK, and I'll be teaching in China next week, and as I've been doing for 30-some years. In Nashville, Tennessee, our center has attracted patients from over 40 states and 55 countries. And our foundation helps blind orphan children. This is Kajal, the real person. And in Cultural Revolution, I learned dancing to escape labor camp. Now I use it to help medical charity, the eyeball. In Cultural Revolution, I learned erhu, Chinese violin, to escape labor camp. Now is an instrument to help connect East and West. We have Tennessee Immigrant Minority Group, and to help immigrant minorities. And this is our next this forum, June 11th, about nonprofit organization. You can take a picture if you want. Welcome to the Tennessee Immigrant Minority Business Group, June 11th. And also, I also give testimonials almost every month, every other month at churches about faith and science. As Chinese American, we need to stand up for our rights. This is a tremendous honor, National Rating of the Year by Kiwanis Club for our foundation's work in helping blind orphan children. I teach at local Christian school, Tribeca. So that's my little story about faith is science is a tool, faith is a principle. And I want to finish that with showing you the trailer of Andrew Studio's movie, Sight.
I'm going to help you see again.
You said it was impossible.
Ah, there he is, the good doctor.
You're going to be on the cover of the Tennessee Herald tomorrow morning. You may get a date out of this.
No, that picture.
Very funny.
Our pro bono office got a call from India. A little girl, 6 years old.
Apparently, street beggars make more money if they're legitimately blind. So the stepmother poured sulfuric acid in each of her eyes.
I'm going to help you see again, good job.
Is it true that multiple doctors declared your patient irreversibly blind?
Yes, I developed this new breakthrough technology. Here we go. Do you see the light?
No. I can't see anything.
I have this patient from India. She reminds me of some things in the past that I can't get over.
The present is made possible by the past.
A long time ago back in China, there was an uprising in my hometown. Many bad things happened.
So you came to America.
Yes.
It's hard getting into medical school, but you coming from China, don't waste your time.
You cannot change the past, Ming. I feel like I'm stuck.
Hello, doctor. This is Maria.
We want to give her a chance to see again.
I don't even know if I can perform surgery anymore. I left you.
Stop it. You need to just let go.
I just don't want Maria to end up like a job.
We can only do our best. I'm with you, Ming. We can do this.
I refuse to believe there is no purpose.
I will be praying for you.
The job is teaching me that there's more to life than what you see. We have to keep going.
I thought you said it was impossible.
Can you see yourself, Maria?
I'm so pretty.
So appreciate your help to our foundation by sharing this free movie link, because more people who watch the film through this free movie link, more will know about our work in helping blind orphan children from around the world. So therefore, more of these kids could be helped. So please take a picture and share with friends this free movie link, and appreciate your support to our site foundation as such. So next Shi Ban Gong Bei Zoom is June 10th. As I said, working smarter means more logical, more rational, therefore more efficient. I'm in a unique position to talk about it because I grew up in the East, which is most emotional, and I live in the West, which is more logical. And I'm a physician, which is emotional, helping patients, and also I'm a physicist, which is logical. People always ask me, how much is going to improve in using the Shi Ban Gong Bei pearls? The answer will shock you, up to 1,000% your efficiency. Because one of the most frequent questions I get by people, my friends over the time, my lifetime is, Ming, how many hours in a day do you have? Do you have like 48 hours or something? My answer always surprised them. I said, sometimes I feel like I have 70 to 96 hours in a day. I do all kinds of different things. They say, how come? It's because I use Shi Ban Gong Bei pearls. Jonathan Haidt, New York Times bestseller, published a seminal work called The Righteous Mind, which says that 90% of ourselves are emotional, therefore irrational and illogical. We tend to do things what we feel like to do, rather than what we think we should do. Then when I read this book, I realized that, you know what, we're hopeless. Because if we're irrational, inefficient, we're hopeless. Until another very famous writer, Dan Ariely, professor at the Duke University, he published another New York Times bestseller called Predictably Irrational. Yes, we're irrational, all right, but we're predictably so. There's a pattern. So standing on the shoulder of these two giants, I published my third book, the Shi Ban Gong Bei Little Doublet. Basically, my idea is very simple. By systematic study of our irrationality, we can then use the seldom applied logic. And since 90% of ourselves is irrational, therefore inefficient, but if you manage to change that into logical and rational, you can improve your efficiency by 10 times or up to 1,000%. So basically, Shi Ban Gong Bei simply means identification of 77 nature-driven irrationalities and apply logic to do things more efficiently. So how I observe these 77 behaviors is because I have the good fortune of being able to work with about a dozen or so, eventually, who have become billionaire friends. About a dozen or so. I was very lucky to work with them. All of them are a lot more successful than me. So I observed them. I realized, you know what? Elon Musk is Elon Musk not because he got extra head, extra arm. It's because he does things differently compared with most of us. What is that difference? I come to realize that what they do is more logical. They're able to recognize our human weakness, which is irrationality.
You survived the Miami weekend, nailed the speech, and maxed out your credit card in the name of friendship. Now you've got one hangover, 4 pastel dresses, and 0 reasons to wear them again. Sell them on Depop. Just snap a few photos, and we'll take care of the rest. And you at least get some of your dignity, money back. Someone on Depop wants what you've got. Start selling now. Depop, where taste recognizes taste.
I don't know where that came from, so we will continue. So, let me go back. I don't know where they came from. So, the goal is to apply logic. So basically, you say, Dr. Wang, you mean when people say don't just work harder, work smarter, and smarter simply means more logic. Correct. Because most of us, 90% of us, is irrational, it's illogical, and often inefficient. So the Shi Ban Gong Bei is very simple. By recognizing how these very successful billionaires, how they work, because they are just more logical. Then we identify our own illogical behaviors and correct that, replace that with logical behavior, we will be able to end up a lot more efficient. So let's study from, every time I'm going to cover about 10 pearls or so. Today we're going to study pearl 1. In partnership, the person is more important than the project. In partnership, who your partner is more important than what you'll be doing together. Examine the character of a potential partner before entering into a business relationship with him or her. With the right partner, you may be able to do the right thing. However, with the wrong partner, you may never be able to do the right thing. Then you say, wait a minute, you mean we actually do not examine our partner carefully? We just jump in doing things and only halfway through recognize we're just wasting our time because he or she is the wrong person to be my partner? Absolutely. All of us do that. I do too. Our human behavior is largely irrational, illogical. We should not be doing that. We should always examine the character of potential partner before entering a relationship so that we can actually ensure the success later. Because with the right person, you may or may not be able to do the right thing, right? You could still fail. But with the wrong person, you can never succeed. So that's a irrationality. So if you recognize that, your business partnership is going to be a lot more successful. Then you say, oh, so you mean business people is more important than the project? No. That's only correct 50% of the time. The other 50% of the time is actually the opposite. So what is that? Pro 2. In solving a problem, the matter is more important than the person. When addressing a problem, you should not focus on the personal attributes of the individual who made the mistake. If you do, you will place the focus on the person, him or herself, which may incite his or her ego and create an emotional barrier that could cause him or her to never be able to see the issue itself. Therefore, you should focus on the issue instead of the person. The goal is to solve the problem and improve the system. The goal is not to blame on any particular person. I learned this particular pro in the hard way because it used to be when our clinic has a problem, I will convene a meeting, and I will start meeting and say, hey, today we're going to have a problem. We've got an unhappy patient and it's because Nancy made a mistake, blah, blah, blah. And totally ineffective because everybody's looking at Nancy and Nancy's self-esteem got hurt. So she was busy defending herself rather than helping us find what's the reason for their problem. Everybody was trying to blame on Nancy. So now I know better. When I have a business meeting, even if it's Nancy's problem, I will go out of my way to hide the identity of the person who made the mistake. I literally will have a meeting, and then I say, hey, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to solve this problem because patient so-and-so is unhappy, so we need to figure out why. But let me tell you, the person who made the mistake that result in that unhappy patient is not here today. Okay? So don't guess who that is. It's not in this meeting. So we're going to talk about how to solve that problem now. So once I intentionally hide the identity of the person who made the mistake, all of a sudden everybody is more open. Even the person who made a mistake, him or herself, is more open because we are not hurting his or her self-esteem. Remember, when you criticize Nancy in front of all others, Nancy will not recognize you're just criticizing her. Nancy will see that you are actually criticizing her entire life philosophy. Of course, she's going to town to defend herself. She's not going to focus on helping solve the problem. Because you're not just saying, Nancy, you made a mistake on this one. You're essentially negate her entire life's viewpoint. Okay? When you criticize her in front of others. Pro 3. Life is a two-way street. If you need someone to assist you with your project, you first need to do everything you can to help that person with his or her project. Then he or she may be more inclined to help you with yours. A person who always wants to just take and will not give will never be successful. One time I give this Zoom, I was relating Jayla yesterday when we went to event. Somebody asked me, said, Dr. Wang, you're helping lots of people. How do you gauge? Do you have all the time to helping everybody? I said, I don't. I only have time to help less than 0.1% people. And the person said, really? How do you make that selection? I said, I have a gold testing stone. They said, what's that? So I will tell you the story. You see that not everybody is life two ways. So what you want is you don't want to waste your time to work with someone who is not life two ways because you cannot change that person. You hardly change yourself. So once I recognize who's someone who's not life two ways, I just don't want to work with that person at all. So I have my little testing up front that literally within minutes, I can recognize if this person's life to waste or not. If it's not, I just don't work with that person. I'm not saying he or she's better or worse than me. I'm just saying he or she's different from me. I don't want to have headache because you cannot change a person. So you have to do the go testing stone when the person is not suspecting, when the person is in his or her native state. In the ancient time, the bunch of merchants want to sell an emperor with a bunch of stones that claim to be gold, and the emperor got fooled many times. So the emperor thought about something very smart. So what he did is he picked out a stone with the sharp edges, and which is not gold, and he put in his pocket. When in the morning, when he opened his chamber, a bunch of merchants came up, gave him the big stone and said, hey, pay a lot of money for this. This is gold. The emperor simply pulled out his little sharp gold testing stone, strike the surface on that big stone. If it's gold spark, then this big stone is gold because he knows his testing stone, the sharp little testing stone, is not gold. If there's no gold spark, then the big stone that handed to him was not gold. That's it. So anybody who want me to help, I always throw out the little gold testing stone. And, you know, very frequently I get email, they're asking for financial donation. Dr. Wang, you know, we got this nice inner city program, and can you help us donate? I just throw my little gold testing stone. And I typically say, because I get about on average two a week of these. And I just told him, I say, you know, Eric, that's interesting. I'll take a look at your link. I'll let you know if we can help. But by the way, I got my movie site free link. If you don't mind, share your free link with your friends, please, because literally you're helping our Sci Foundation. The more people watch the link, more people know about foundation work in helping blind orphan children, and more of these kids could be helped. Now, what do you think? What percentage of folks who receive my reply letter will totally ignore me? You say, no way the person will ignore me, because yes, they need money from you, man, but they need the money from you, man. So anything you say, they of course will pay attention, a little bit of attention at least, right? You'll be shocked. Human being is so irrational, so self-centered. 99.9% of people respond my email like that will say, oh, Dr. Wang, thank you so much. You're going to help me with my nonprofit. Oh, wonderful. Yeah, please do take a link, look at link. If you want to support, however you want to support, let us know. Thank you so much. That's it. As if I never typed my second part of my email. I mean, it's stupid, isn't it? It is stupid. In school, we always want to get on the good side of teacher, right? Because we have something to get from the teacher. We want teacher to have a good impression of us, you know, because I want to get on the good side of teacher because teacher is going to give me good grade, right? As a student, I don't have the opportunity to do favor to my teacher, unfortunately. But you bet, if one day teacher in the classroom say, hey, listen, ladies and gentlemen, I forgot my, coffee. Anybody is willing to go to the hallway and in the coffee machine get me a grab of coffee? You bet I will run to that coffee like a madman, because that's my rare opportunity to do something for my teacher, because I want to get on his good side. So you would expect human being, when they need money from another person, they will pay attention a little bit to what that person says, right? No, 99% of people don't pay attention to what I say. They just want to get things from me. They just respond, say, oh, so good, you're looking for my nonprofit. Let us know after you look at link if you want to support now. As if I never typed my second part of my email, which is about sharing the link of the full movie to help my foundation. I'm not asking for money. I'm not asking for anything other than just share a link of the free movie. 99.9% people who need something from me will ignore what I said. That makes my life really easy. because they fail my goal testing stone. They are not life is two ways. That person I will never work with. They're not going to get donation from me for sure. Because why do I want to bother to work with people who are by definition not life two ways? So I suggest all of you to develop your goal testing stone so you do not get into headache situation, because 99.9% people do not understand Pro 3. Pro 4. Make it easy for others to help you. If you need help with your project, you need to first accomplish as much as you can yourself. Don't be lazy. If the person for whom you help sees that what you truly care about your own project, then you have already done as much as you can yourself before you ask for help. He or she will be more willing to help you, right? Furthermore, the more you have done yourself for your own project prior to asking for help, the less he or she will have to do. So the easier it will be for him or her to do it, to help you. I mean, it's incredible. I see people that they will say, hey, Johnny, help me. And then I say, okay, Johnny, this is important to you. Oh, very important, Ming, very important. I say, okay, how much have you done any part of that yourself? No, I have not done anything yet. It's like, you are contradicting what you said. This project is how important to you versus your own action. You didn't even bother to do any part of yourself. You're so lazy. So that this project is literally not important to you at all. And you say, wait a minute. Ming, are we that stupid as human beings? We literally want people to help us, but we are so lazy, wouldn't do any part of that, our own project, any part of that before we ask for help. It's true. We're that way. I'm that way. I often that way still. So I used to read this pearl all the time. Anytime I need the help, I ask myself, I need Nancy's help. Have I done my best as much as I can on this project already? Because if I don't do the part that I'm able to do, no way Nancy is going to help me, because he sees that it's not important. No matter how much I said important is me, my action proved that project is not important to me. And also, the more I've done for my own project prior to asking Nancy for help, the less Nancy will have to do. So the easier it will be for Nancy to do it, to help me, right? It makes sense. But we don't behave that way, ladies and gentlemen. We behave the opposite way. We ask for help to people without even thinking about, have I done my best? Have I done as much as I can? We are irrational beings. Pro 5. Well, I'm here today. Whatever you're doing, always be willing to step back and for a moment and look at the whole situation and ask yourself this key question. Ultimately, what is the real reason or the purpose that I'm being here today? It's interesting. I often still catch myself doing this. It's human nature. When we hear exciting project, we say, let's do it, jump into it. And halfway through, you say, what the heck I'm doing? Why I'm doing? Then you say, Ming, we actually just go and jump in to do things, figure out what to do and how to do without even asking why we do it? Correct? That's human nature. Can you imagine how efficient you will be by simply recognizing this pearl, so that you can always re-examine yourself and ask the real reason what you're doing? So Jayla, you and I talked about last night. We talk about event you do. Then I challenge you. I said, yes, the event addressed many practical questions, but I challenge you to think about that event you do. What is your real reason of doing it every year? So once you see through that real reason, what I meant by making it your pet project, right? As I said, from which people assess the social power as such, as I mentioned, then you're clear. But it's important to recognize the real reason, because then everything you do is going to be subjected to this priority, this particular why I'm here. So as human being, we jump in to do what to do, how to do it, forget that there's something at above what and how is why. Number 6, identify number 1 task. When faced with many challenges, rank them in order of importance so you can devote most of your attention to number 1 task. The ability to rank lies at the heart of human experience. It's interesting. I ask myself this question. I said, what I have to show? I've been on this earth for decades. What is I have to show that I'm a human being, have lived, I've learned? And I come to realize there's only one thing we have to show if you have lived on this earth for a few decades. Because the longer you have lived, the clearer you are, the more capable you are in ranking. A young person has no idea among the 3 tasks what's most important. An older person has been there, down there, suffered, knowing among the 3 tasks which is more important. Others 2 are really not that important. So the ability to rank lies at the heart of human experience. Being a human being means what? Being a human being means a learning process, to learn what's important in life, what is not important in life. Pearl 7, applying logic to everything you do. It's interesting that we actually literally don't apply logic. I have the opportunity to work with one of the billionaires, and he is very, very successful. And over time, I recognize why he's successful. It's because he literally not swayed by emotions. He basically, everything we do, he said, we finished, discussing how to do it. He pokes the question. He pops the question. He said, ladies and gentlemen, we just decide what to do, right, on this thing. And it's been the way we've been doing this way for the past years. But does it actually make sense? Is there a more logical reason to do it? And then you say, wait a minute, man. You mean human being tends to do things habitually? Oh, this is the way it's been done. We actually seldom challenge yourself. Does it make sense, this way of doing it? Well, my answer will disappoint you. All of us, myself included, are that way. We literally cruising. Our brain likes to cruise. Our brain does not like to think. Because 99% is emotional, logical, illogical, irrational. It's just more easy to do the things that we always been doing. Only top 10% upper brain is logical. Now you may say, why is the illogical doing things habitually so powerful? Why the illogical being is 90% of us? It's because the lower brain, midbrain, low brain, has developed a lot earlier. 200,000, 500,000 years ago, at the beginning of human being, we had the low brain, middle brain already. We have rhythm, we have a primitive, sense of rhythm and the food, music, the language, the logical thinking was only developed in the last few thousand years. So if you weight the weight of the brain, 90% of the brain is the lower and middle brain. It's illogical. This thing I learned from another billionaire, that Ray Dalio, another New York Times bestseller, he wrote a very influential book. He's the world's richest, most successful bond trader. He said, we as human beings, we tend to think, we fight me against the world, right? No, we're living through our life, not me against the world, but me against me. Meaning, I'm living through the world, struggling through is just simply is fighting my upper brain, what I should be doing, versus my lower brain, what I feel like doing. And 9 out of 10 times, my lower brain wins. That's a big elephant. My logical is only small elephant rider on top of elephant. So elephant is like a president of America, very often emotionally doing things. The elephant rider, the little guy on top, is the White House press secretary. Only after the president has so irrationally done something, the press secretary then have a press conference trying to explain away logically the president has just irrationally done something. The press secretary is just a damage control, okay? Real control, the person who really controls the show is the elephant. So, ladies and gentlemen, I've got news for you. All of us is driven by the elephant. Only 10% of the time we do things what we think we should do. 90% of the time we do things what we feel like to do. So the point is, if you recognize the Pro 7, if you pause, if you say, you know what, we've decided to do this, we have always been doing this way, does it actually make sense? Can I think of a more logical way of doing things? Just by pausing, you're going to be making your self more efficient than 90% of the people who didn't even recognize this Pro. 8, check things more orthogonally. When you check something for accuracy, try not to use the same method that you used to obtain your initial result to begin with. Because if there was an error with that method, you will likely make the same mistake again. You're much more likely to catch an error if you use a completely different and therefore unrelated, therefore orthogonal in logic method the second time. It's really funny. When we say, you know, Ming, did you get this right? This, you know, the financial calculation or whatever. And I say, okay, I'm going to check. And then I use the same method to check. Same method I used to obtain the initial answer to begin with. That's stupid. That's stupid. Because whatever the pitfall is, wherever the step that I tend to make mistake, I want to make the same mistake when I get to that step again. So the only way to catch a mistake is to use a different method in logic to assess that. For example, in the laser room, in the clinic, we say, okay, how many key cards we use? Every patient doing LASIK surgery uses 1 key card, right? So 1 eye is 1 key card. And a technician say, oh, well, I checked. We did 150 patients, so, 150 eyes. So we had, 300 key cards. Now it's 150. And I say, hey, can you double check? The technician go back to check the patient number again. That's stupid. Because if one of the patients you forgot to count, you do the same mistake again. Then you say, okay, Ming, how can we check? How can we verify that 150 eyes are done based on key cards? Well, you cannot use the same method by counting patients. You have to count the orthogonal way, meaning something like this. I say, okay, at the beginning of the month, how many key cards do we have? Oh, 420. Okay. How many key cards do we have now? 370. Now you have it. 270. Now you have it. It's 150. So, in other words, you use a different method. If that 420 minus 270 is still come out 150, which is same as the result when you calculate based on patients, then you're more sure of the result because you literally use 2 different, logically orthogonal method to check. Pro 9, focus the content before form. Content is more important than form, and the substance more important than formality. Then you say, man, wait a minute. You mean we actually pay attention to formality more than substance as human beings? Correct. Myself included. And then one of these billionaires I work with over the years, I realized that he's very interesting. he's not easily swayed by appearance. He has this amazing ability to see through it and get to the substance. And I'm much worse than that. Not only me, but many of my friends are easily swayed by the appearance. For example, we work in the medical field, and often, when we discuss about advertisement, we look at the ads, and most of my friends, colleagues commenting about the color, the appearance of the ads. But when this friend of mine, who eventually become billionaire, when he came to our meeting, he's not faced by any of these. He's simply saying, look at this, ignore the color presentation. He said, I think there's a problem with this message in this ad. And that's why he became billionaire. Then you say, wait a minute, you mean we pay attention to formality? Oh, unfortunately, yes, myself too. We're so dazzled by appearance so easily, we literally have to tell ourselves the pearl 9 all the time. Then you say, you mean if I pay attention on the formality rather than the substance, I'm less efficient? Absolutely, because you can easily be fooled by presentation. Of course, you're less efficient. Pro 10, focus only on what you do and things you can control. Don't worry about what others do. Focus only on what you yourself can do. Do not waste any time on things that are not under your control. Focus only on the things you can do and change. So, Cal, I see you on the Zoom. I'm going to use you as an example. So you had this event, right? And with Jayla, and that's a wonderful event last week. And let's say before the event, you and Jayla got together, look at ISVP, say, hey, this event, that's you have a team with your team together, right? Say, we didn't have enough ISVP. What is it, ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow's event, we didn't have enough ISVP. You know what your team member tends to do? This is what it's going to do. When you pop that question, your team member will say, hey, Cal, tomorrow it's raining. Or tomorrow's too cold. Or tomorrow there's a Titans football game. Well, that may be true. That's why RSVP number is low. But what's the point of bringing that up? What is the point to bring those things up that you have no control? By talking about Titan game, are you going to stop the Titan game? By talking about tomorrow night's cold, that's why people know RSVP event. Are you going to warm up the weather? I mean, it is incredible how inefficient we are by, without thinking, wasting our time, worrying about things we have no control. You're that way, Cal, I'm that way, all of us are that way. Because it's easy to talk about. The meeting, Cal, you convert, and you and Jayla convert a meeting before the event, is not to talk about the things we don't have control. It's to talk about things we do have control. So, Cal, you may ask a question, you say, okay, man, give an example. What kind of stuff we can control when we meet the day before, night before, for the next day event meeting, RSVP number is not enough. Oh, that's to think about. There are some examples. For example, you can say to the team, hey, ladies and gentlemen, we don't want to talk about anything we don't have control. We have low RSVP number right now, about 24 hours from the meeting. Any of your friends who know you're coming, and Nancy said, yes, Cal, I know my friend Eric is coming tomorrow night. You say, okay, Nancy, can you give Eric a call tonight? Ask Eric to invite a friend. That your team have control. Okay? Your team member, Nancy, can make a phone call. Or maybe it's in the form of sending another round of email, whatever. Focus on things we have control. Now, here's a fascinating question. I've been thinking, why are human beings so stupid? why we do things knowing we have no control. I mean, I'm sure your team member, Cal, Jayla, when you had the meeting 24 hours before your Big Ten event, everybody knows they don't have control on the weather. Everybody knows they don't have control on the Titans. But why people even talk about it? That seems to be so low IQ, isn't it? Why our natural habit is so unintelligent, so inefficient, wasting so much time? Why? That's a fascinating question. I've come to learn that the reason we habitually talk about things we don't have control is because we as human beings don't want to take responsibility. So if I talk about things that I do have control, Jayla, and then the things did not happen, you know what? I only have myself to blame. If I talk about things I don't have control, the weather's too cold, there's a Vanderbilt football game, you know what? When not enough people show up in the event, I would say, Jayla, it's not my fault. It's the weather's fault. It's Vanderbilt football team's fault. You know, human has an innate tendency of not wanting to take responsibility for things we do. That result in a very interesting phenomenon that we just keep on talking about the things we have no control. So then you say, okay, Ming, that's human nature. Yes. Can I change human nature? No. So what is the point of talking about Pro 10? I'm just saying, as the team leader, Cal and Jayla, you can direct the team's effort. Say, okay, I know, you're talking about weather. Yeah, you're talking about the football. Yeah, I know. But let me just kind of put these questions on the side for a second, okay? Let me talk about, hey, Nancy, how many friends you are coming tomorrow night? You know, oh, I know Eric is coming. Can you just give Eric a call? Ask Eric to bring a couple friends. That's it. So you literally redirect the effort of the team. But it takes a realization on your behalf to recognize human natural behavior is focused on things don't have control. You can recognize that. Because if you don't recognize that innate weakness in all of us, you're not going to be able as the leader to redirect the traffic. 11, learn from other mistakes. I mean, it's fascinating. We need to learn from the mistakes of others, so hopefully we wouldn't have to make the same mistakes ourselves, right? But we don't do that. I mean, it's fascinating. We as a human being, if someone said, you know, there's 10 pitfalls in front of you, we just have to step into every single pitfall and get burned. Can we learn? We just don't learn. I mean, when I was young, my parents said, man, that young lady you hang out with is not good for you. You know what? I don't listen. I still hang out with her until I got burned, then learn. So this process, human nature tends to not listen, tends to not being able to learn from others' mistakes. So here's the thing. If you recognize that, you see Eric Jones made a mistake and you say, ooh, why Eric is making a mistake? Oh, that's because of that. Then if you learn that lesson without having to make the mistake as Eric did, you're literally going to be ahead of the game. And this came from another billionaire. I watched him and he started business same day, same year as me, 24 years ago, when we all basically very poor. And today, you know, we're both reasonably successful. He's a little bit more successful than me. For example, I have 26 employees. He has 70,000 employees. Okay? So he's ranked number 176 wealthiest men on the Forbes list of wealthy people, right? So like $45 billion worth. So I've learned watching him over these 24 years, how did he do it? I'm curious. Because he didn't have extra head, extra arm. But what did he do? This is his pearl. He literally listens carefully. Every time we get together, he asks me what I did. When I say, oh, yeah, I did this. I wish I didn't because now I learned. He pay attention. He tried to learn the lesson without himself having to make the mistake. Then you say, that's going to build a billionaire? Yes, because it's compounding interest. If you do a little thing here today, little thing tomorrow, compound it over 10 years, that's a dramatic exponential difference. Then you say, it doesn't appear to be that hard a pearl. Is it everybody knows this pearl 11? 99.999% of us are not billionaires. 99.999% of us don't know pearl 11. 99.999% of us physically have to make mistakes to learn. You see? Elon Musk of the world did not have extra head, extra arm, just because they just know our innate irrationality as human beings. And they recognize it. They do things deliberately to counteract it. 12, stay focused on the point. Don't be distracted by examples that people use. Always keep your focus on the issue. It's fascinating. For example, one time I have a friend, I said, airplanes a lot faster than cars, right? Airplane can fly, what, 100, 200, 300 miles an hour or something? Car can travel, what, 60, 70 miles an hour? Guess what my friend said? He said, yeah, that may be true, but they got a new car, can travel 90 miles an hour. What's the point? I'm just using the mileage as an example. I'm trying to say a concept that airplanes generally fly faster than cars. I mean, the fact that there's a faster car now, more than 80 miles, 85, 90 miles, is not the point. The point is airplanes faster than car. But people are so easily distracted by examples. It's incredible. And when you're distracted by examples, you forget the gist of the issue. Our human beings are so easily distractible. Okay? And I'll give you an example. You know the manual magicians and mentalists? The mentalists, they can, say something that you're thinking. They say, how could this person know? Because they distracted you. At the time when you're not paying attention, they find out about that about you, and they use it later. This is the entire trick of mentalists and some of the magicians. Okay? Because you're so easily distractible. So here's the question. You say, absolutely makes sense, man, because if we're distracted, obviously we're not going to be efficient and wasting time. Obviously, if we're less distractible, we're more efficient. Makes sense. But why would human beings naturally behave that way? Why we naturally are more distractible? Uh-oh. Here's the question for you. Why do you think we are so naturally distractible? Right? It doesn't make sense. Makes us a lot less efficient. I've been studying those questions for many, many years. I realized that the answer to this question comes from this. In the old days, in the jungles, our ancestors run in the jungle, primitive tools in their hands. When they're focused on the tiger and this lion, all of a sudden come from the side, distract their attention. They better pay attention to that distraction, because if you don't, you'll be eaten alive by the lions on the side. So out of the need to survive, we end up to be very distractible. We forget the point. We distract by the examples. So basically, we have this innate nature to be very easy to distract because for survival. But it's not efficient behavior. Shi Ban Gong Bei is all about identifying these inefficiencies and counteract with more efficient. 13. Don't try to change someone else. Adapt to change yourself. You cannot change another person anyway. You can change yourself. Your ideal work partner should be someone who, at the onset, always possesses many attributes that will enable you to work together. If adjustments are needed after you begin working together, adapt and change yourself. Dale Carnegie, in his seminal work, How to Influence People, How to Make Friends Influence People, said this. Basically, we don't change. I hardly change myself. I mean, you will never be able to change another person. So in business relationship, as we talk about Pro 1, it's very important to align the interests together. It's very important to do your goal testing stone to figure out this person is alive to wait or not. It's very important to figure out this person is good communicator. It's very important if this person follows through what they do. It's very important about the moral, ethical value of this person, because once you're working together, he or she is not going to change. If any change is going to happen, change yourself. 14. Success is measured by effort, not by result. Success is not defined by how much we have accomplished, but by whether or not we have made our best effort. If you've done your best in everything you've done, then you're successful. It's very interesting. I have another billionaire friend that another line of business, and I have the several opportunities working with him for the past many years, and he's extraordinarily successful, and he's always upbeat. And I try to figure out why is he successful, right? I realize he's always upbeat. And I was asking myself whether the upbeatness has anything to do with the success, right? And I see something. Most of us, our happiness is affected by the result. When we do something, we're not successful, we're depressed, we complain, we're unhappy. But this guy I work with for many years, and he's not billionaire now, he's just literally not affected. He's still happy, even if whatever he did is not. So one day I pull him aside, I said, tell me something. What does you do? How can you be happy when what you just did was not turned out? He said, I know our human weakness, that our happiness defined by objective success. So or not. So I intentionally changed my definition of happiness. I intentionally defined my success many years ago by not whether I'm successful in doing the objective success, but subject effort. Did I do my best? If I'm done my best, then I train my brain to recognize as a success. But because I'm a human being, I want to be happy as well. So when I look back, whatever I've done, I want to see I've applied 99% of my effort. So I end up as a positive loop. I end up doing things 99% every time now because I want to look back and be happy. And since the criteria, when I look back, when I'm happy, not depending on if I have done my best, I end up developing a habit, always doing my best. So I suggest you try this pro. Redefine the definition of your happiness. Not by the criteria most of the world define, which is objective, successful or not objectively, but by new criteria. Define your happiness by subjectively if you have done your best or not. Then you're on your way to pick up one of the pros of these Elon Musk of the world they have done. Okay? I mean, Elon Musk, for him, speaking on him, you can see on the news, he's always on something, isn't it? He's always positive. He's always like, I mean, I don't think I've seen on Facebook he's depressed, he's crying. Elon Musk has lots of things to be depressed about because, to this day, many of his rockets landed still exploding in the sky, right? But he's not depressed. He's just moving on to the next design because he has learned to define his happiness not by objective success or not, but subjective if he has done his best. Last pro today, 15, people will do what others do in a similar situation. If you want something to do something, first try to identify and then convey to him or her what others in a similar situation have done previously. Since people who generally feel more comfortable doing something which has been done by others who have been in their shoes. It's interesting. I have a very smart classmate at Harvard Medical School, MIT class. And very interesting, he's a lot more successful than me in convincing other people to do the things that he wants them to do. So after many times that I pull him aside, I said, tell me something. What did you do? How come you're able to get other people to do these things? I'm not able to. What is your trick? He said, well, man, you have to know people don't like to make decisions. I said, I know, I know. When I ask some people to do something, they're afraid of making decisions. They don't do what I want them to do because it's a decision they have to make. And he said, I'm able to make them make a decision, but make them feel like they're not making a decision. I said, wow, how could you do that? You mean, let me get this straight. The reason you are so successful in your convincing others to do things the way you want it is because you literally make them feel, even though they are making a decision, they feel like they're not making a decision. So they're more likely to make that decision that you want. He said, yes. I said, wow, how'd you do that? He said, I don't go up to someone, just ask them to do something. Before I go to someone, ask them to do something, I do a little research, finding out if I want Eric to do something, I will find out another person in Eric's shoes. Nancy. Has Nancy done the same thing? If Nancy had done the same thing, who was in a similar situation as Eric, then my approach to Eric would not be, hey, Eric, can you do this? No. I would say, Eric, can you do this? Because I found out Nancy, who is in the same shoe as you, already done it. So what happens is that people are afraid of making decisions. So if they know another person in a similar situation already made the decision, that makes them a lot more comfortable. People are sheep mentality. They want to do others already in a similar situation because that's risk. So they end up making a decision that I want them to without feeling like they're making a decision because they feel others in the same shoes who are already done that, they already made that decision for him. Okay? So some of the people who are billionaires, because they have this technique, they literally can successful in getting others to do things they want to do because they recognize human nature, that we're a lot more comfortable making a decision when we know others who in a similar situation made a decision. So if you want to be successful in your effort to convince Johnny to the decision, find someone else who was in Johnny's shoe and has already made that decision. Okay, there are 77 pros. We don't have time to go through. Our next one is June 10th. And you're welcome to. And so again, Shi Ban Gong Bei is about 77 human nature weakness. And so when people say working harder, but also working smarter, what does that mean? Smarter means more logical, more rational, therefore more efficient. And I'm able to address the issue because I have East and West pros, both cultures, and also I'm physician, emotional, physicist, logical. How much you can improve the efficiency, your work efficiency by Shi Ban Gong Bei Zooms, literally up to 1,000%. On average, myself, I use about 5 to 10 pros a day. That's why some of my friends always say, do you have 40 hours in a day or something? I say, usually I respond, I have 70 to 96 hours because I don't waste time. I learn from people a lot smarter than me, a lot more successful, so I don't waste time. I do things more logically, emulating these billionaires. Jonathan High said 90% is emotional, and then I really said we're emotional, all right, but we're predictably so. That's why standing on the shoulder of those giants, I published my Shi Ban Gong Bei book, and realizing that if I do these, I may not be able to improve to 1,000%, but 200%, that's good. You know, and so it's basically identify these human-driven irrational behaviors, applying logic, so you overcome them, become more logical. So working hard and also smart simply means working more logically. Simply means we are largely illogical beings. By recognizing that, as an example showed today, you literally can dramatically improve your efficiency. I'm looking forward to seeing many of you. Next one is the second Wednesday, typically it's third Wednesday, but next one, second Wednesday, June 10th, Wednesday. And take a picture of the screen, send me an email with your mailing address. I'll be delighted to mail you a book as a, you can finish reading the whole book in 10 minutes, but carry with you because you need to use them every day. Any of you who are interested about vision issues, our next Vision Zoom is Tuesday, May 19th. You can take a picture of the screen. I'll be happy to share with you. You can learn about SMILE, which is making LASIK obsolete. You can learn about implantable contact lens. You can learn the forever young lens surgery that can enable you to be free of glasses, distance and reading for the rest of your life. And you can learn about laser cataract surgery. And any of you interested in foundation, you can appreciate a donation, wangfoundation.com. Of $25, you get a copy of the book. I'll mail to you. All proceeds go to the foundation. And also, finally, I appreciate your help to our foundation by sharing this free movie link. And more people watch the film free of charge. And more people will know about our foundation work in helping blind orphan children. For therefore, more of these kids could be helped. So I want to thank Dr. Ming Chen in always helping us putting this together. And Dr. Chen, do you have your cell phone with you? I'm going to invite everybody. Actually, let me, Jayla, do you have a cell phone? Take a picture. My cell phone somewhere else. I suggest everybody unblock your camera, and Jayla is going to use a cell phone, take a picture of everybody on the screen. So Cal, you can do that for us too, or Jayla. Yeah, just everybody hold the thumb, and this is think about this. This moment, friends get together. This point in your life, at this juncture in your life, to think about the question in your life at this moment with this group of friends will never be replicated. So it's a unique moment in life. So we take a picture. So Jayla, you all take a picture? Okay, thank you. And Jayla's going to send that picture to me, and I will share with you all. Okay, so questions? Anybody, any questions?
Okay, we might have to, we can't get everybody on the screen. We can't get everybody on the screen, so I was taking multiple.
Oh, okay.
We couldn't get them all on the screen at the same time. Okay.
Okay, thank you, thank you. So I think right now it's pretty good. So the picture doesn't have to be everybody there. So it's just a little souvenir. I will send. Oh, by the way, everybody, can you put your email address in the name and email address? Name and email address. I'm going to have to get my cell phone. I'm going to be right back. So put your name and email address in the chat room because I'm going to take an iPhone picture because when we have schedule changes, I want to be able to have your email address so that you'll be notified about, so name and email address. I'm taking an iPhone picture now. Your name and email address. Okay, any questions, anyone? So Jayla, Cal, do you feel found to be useful in some way?
Dr. Wang, how was your week? And are you looking forward to your trip to China? This is Corey. Good to see you, Doctor.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you, Corey. Yes, my movie Side is banned, so I bring a side DVD, and we have a China Bible Project, and I'll be lecturing about a dozen or so cities in 10 days. It's amazing. The speed highway rail is so well developed, and I'll be lecturing at the International Eye Conference at the Chengdu. So I've been doing this background trip China for at least once a year or sometimes multiple times for 30 years, because I want to use my knowledge. I feel I'm very blessed to be able to have the cutting edge eye technology knowledge. So I want to help China improve its quality of eye care for its citizens.
Thank you, Dr. Wang. Thank you for everything you do.
Oh, thank you, Corey. It's thank you for everything you do. And I saw the email actually you sent me about your mom, and I'm going to I already forward it to some of the friends. And if I hear anything from them, I will let you know. About your mom. Yes.
Thank you, Dr. Wang.
Thank you. Anybody else? Any question? Jayla, any question? Cal?
Okay, so yeah, our computer glitched. I don't know what that was about, but he was talking. You asked Cal.
Yeah, I don't know. You said something. If I can be useful in any way, I didn't get that part. Computer was glitching.
Oh, I was just saying. Have you found anything more as helpful today, or any comment, any feedback?
Well, it's a lot to digest for sure. It's a lot to digest. Very excited. My only question that I have to ask was, do you think that Dr. Ming Wang will be a billionaire as well? Because she keep mentioning that, yeah, my friend talked to billionaire. Do you think that do you think that the Shi Ban Gong Bei?
Yeah, I think. Well, I don't know
if we apply that.
Yeah. I don't know if I will be a billionaire or not, but I'll tell you this way. That's the pathway. That's the commonalities among all the billionaires I've seen. Most of them, they are doing things totally different. There's organic reason why they're billionaires, because they literally do things differently. So I've been watching them, and many of them are my colleagues I work with over the decades, and I finally realized that they are just use more brain. They think more. They do things with reason. And sometimes you may not actually see why, but they know why. They know why. For example, have you realized, using Elon Musk, right? Have you realized that why does he involve this Dozier thing? Right? It's fascinating. But why is he involved in the Dozier thing? Elon Musk is not someone who give up easily. His success in Tesla and all that because he's persistent. And he should know to meddle into government affairs is not going to be up to him, right? It's not Tesla. When government kick him out, he cannot continue to do it, right? But why is he doing the Dozier thing? A few months completely aborted, failed. Why? Is he stupid, not knowing his limit or something? No, because he does it for a different reason. What do you think he's doing? He did the Dozier for, knowing he has no control, knowing it's doomed to fail, knowing it cannot last long, but he threw himself into it for several months. He did it for a different reason, not the reason you and I think. However, my point is that these people are logical. They do things for a reason, not emotional. It's logical reason. So I'm going to leave it to you to think about what is the reason he did Doge. Okay? Not the reason we think he did.
And I wanted to say, pearl number 12, stay focused, was really important because oftentimes in debate, right, especially in politics, people like to change the subject so that they don't have to answer the question. And if you can get people to stay focused on the initial point and not to change the subject mid-thought so that they can twist your argument. I think that's very important.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Jayla, I cannot agree with you more. And on the flip side of the coin, that's precisely many of the politicians answer questions. News say, Governor Smith, what do you think of blah, blah, blah? And Governor Smith knows that he does not want to answer the question, right? So he will go this way. Well, you know what? Before I answer that question, let me just kind of address another thing which is more underlying. You know what? He just doesn't want to answer the question.
Yeah.
They literally utilize the distractible human nature to their advantage.
Yes, for sure.
As I mentioned, magicians and experts. The reason all of a sudden in their hand there's a coin, it disappears, is because when they are distracting you, they ought to give the point, take the point away.
Yeah.
So, but my point is, you got to recognize these human weakness, okay? Then we can use it for productive activities, because most of these human natures, I found it's inefficient. So by virtue of correcting them, I make myself more efficient. I'm not smarter than most of the people I know. I'm not even hardest worker, because lots of people do work a lot harder than me. But I probably think a lot. I'm more willing to think about my own weakness and to try to correct them. That is my learning experience. I'm just much more willing to recognize my human nature is not efficient. Whatever I feel like doing at the moment, don't do it. Pause it, because it may not make sense. Because I don't end up doing that, I end up to be more efficient. For example, if I call you, Jayla, and Corey here, let's say 3 of us want to have lunch. Okay, we're going to have lunch next week. Okay, so then I call Corey. You know what I used to do? What we all tend to do? We say, hey, Corey, we talk about going to have lunch with Jayla. And next week, what day you have? Monday? And Corey may say, yeah, well, Tuesday. Then my human nature is hang out the phone, call Jayla. Jayla say, well, Tuesday, I'm actually busy. How about Thursday? So my nature is go back to Corey. Well, Jayla cannot make it Tuesday. How about Thursday? Corey says, so sorry. Thursday, I'm out of town. How about Saturday? I'm just back and forth. It's just stupid, wasting time. That's emotional, habitual. But what the logical solution is this. When we decide we're going to have lunch next week, I should call up Corey in the beginning and say, hey, Corey, we talk about having lunch with Jayla next week, right? Yes. So among the next week, Monday through Sunday, which are the days you can make it? Corey said, I can make Tuesday, Saturday, Friday. Okay. Then I take all these 3 days to Jayla. I said, we talk about we're going to have lunch next week. Yes. Out of the 7 days, Corey can make 3. Can you pick one of them? And Jayla said, I can make 1. Done. In one phone call to each of you, I got it down instead of many, many phone calls. I cannot tell you how many times I get email every day. People say, Ming, can you have lunch, June 1st? It's not emergency. Why don't you give me a few more days? You're just wasting time. If I cannot make June 1st, I'll back and forth. A much smarter way is saying, hey, Ming, can we have lunch, next month, June 1st, or maybe 15, maybe 17? Give me a few more days. But we don't do that. Another illogical behavior, you get an email from people, say, hey, Corey, can we have lunch Friday? What Friday? This coming Friday? And also, people say, hey, Corey, can we have lunch July 10th? What if he mistyped? So there's a logical way of avoiding mistype. You say, there's no way. Mistype is mistype. should be July 9th instead of July 10th. I just mistyped. It's wasting time because people will eventually find out the original person mistyped. Should be July 9th. So what should we do? We should recognize that irrationality tendency. Instead of saying July 9th, in all of my communication, and Corey, you have seen it, Jaylee, you have seen it, my email to you all, I never mention just the date. I always mention date and also the week of the day. I will say, can we have lunch July 10th, Tuesday? Because the chance for me to mistype both the date as well the day of the week is extremely small. So I just solved the problem mistyping by applying a little rationality. I just marry day of month with day of the week all the time. So you will never get an email from me only mention date. Always a date together with day of the week. Because I want to be more efficient. I don't want to back and forth. Because can you imagine if a group meeting, I mistyped the initial date and the whole group all eventually come together July 9th and I say, sorry, my initial email mistyped, should be July 9th. What a waste of time. So ladies and gentlemen, we have tons of rooms to improve because 90% of the time, the way we do things are inefficient. How human beings are irrational, emotional, and why we're irrational? Because our irrationality, emotionalness has been with us for 500,000 years. Our logicalness has only been with us 5,000 years, 10,000 years. That's evolved much later in the cerebral cortex. That's upper brain. Low brain is all emotional, reflexive is one of the most inefficient, irrational behaviors. Finally, I want to give you an example. Doing eye surgery. What's the things you worry about in doing eye surgery or having eye surgery is safety, right? And it's a fact of life that there's a risk, right? But I told you I've done about 55,000 laser eye surgery now, including over 4,000 doctors. So my success rate is extremely high, in 99.8%. Only 0.2% patient still need the glasses. 99.8% don't need glasses. I mean, Corey is my patient. I did your eye surgery, many years ago, right? So my point is that people say, how do you have such a high success rate? My answer is very simple. Most of the doctors go into a room, operating room, with one backup lens. Even if your success of the initial lens is 99%, the chance of using backup lens is only 1%, but you still have 1% chance, right? I don't do that. Ever since the beginning of my career, I recognize this inefficiency. So every patient I operate, I have my A lens and I have B lens, which is 1%. I have my C lens, which is 0.1% chance of using it. I have my D lens. I literally prepare a lot more than most of the surgeons. Most of the surgeons have A lens. Some of them have A, B lens. I have not only that, I have A, B, C, D lens. So the chance for me to, in the middle of the surgery, need another lens not having prepared, it's extremely low. I have not encountered in my career that when something happened in the operating room, I did not have the lens for it because I prepare the, 0.1, 0.001. And then you say, that makes sense. Eye surgery is so important to be precise and safe. Don't you do most of doctors having all the multiple lines defense? No. You can ask your doctor. They have a B lens prepared. That's it. So I'm not smarter than I have a high success rate in surgery because I literally more logical. And I learn from my mistake. I think, not everything you do has to be A, B, C, D plan. But for your eye surgery, I want to have that. So I'm just showing an example of how we do things more logically. And the other example is, it's interesting. I see myself caught up in doing things all the time that I've utterly forgot what the heck I'm doing, why I'm doing it. I will be in an event, jumping up and down, doing things with a bunch of friends. Then I ask myself, why I'm here? I have no clue. Then you say, why is it important? Because if you recognize something is the most important, you may or may not be able to accomplish that. But if you don't even know what's most important to you, you have zero chance to accomplish that. You see? Everything you learn in the Shi Ban Gong Bei Pro are not rocket science. You knew it. I know you knew. We all know these pros. But the difference is not whether you know these pros or not. Difference is whether we practice them. So literally, by remembering these 77 pros, I carry my little booklet every day. On average, I apply 5 to 10 pros myself. I literally can do a lot more things more successfully, not because I'm smarter, but because I avoid sidetracks. And I avoid sidetracks not because I'm smarter, because I watch these people who are a lot more successful than me, how they do it, because they are working harder and smarter. And the smarter simply means recognizing the innate human nature of 90% of the things we do is because we feel like doing it. Only 10% things we do it because we think about it. Just like I challenge you tonight, I'm not going to give the answer because it's an interesting question to think about. Is Elon Musk did the Doge thing last year. His purpose is not cutting cost. Okay? Because he did things for his reason. It's not what you think. Most of us, you need to really think it through. So anyway, I just want to example, it's not Elon Musk, it's because these people, they are distinctly different from us because they recognize innate human weakness and they are intentional in correcting it. That's why they're billionaires. And rest of us are not. Okay, I will see all of you July 10th. Okay? And Shi Ban Gong Bei, again, if you don't have my little booklet, feel free to, I'm going to take another picture. I'll send you, just email me your mailing address, and I'll mail you a little booklet. You can finish reading the whole book in 10 minutes. Carry it with you in your pocket because it's not about knowing them. It's about actually using them. And you may not be able to improve 1,000%, but come on, improve 20%, 50%. That's a tremendous improvement. And I find not only you're more efficient, it's actually more fun because you're literally watching others wasting time and you're not. Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
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 Thank you.
Dr. Wang.
Thank you. Thank you.
谢谢。
谢谢. Thank you. Thank you.